What are kind of some of the best practices for your bookkeeping? You have your S corp or whatever entity you have, and you're doing your job. How do you need to keep your books? What do you recommend?
Well, okay, so first off, the IRS, if you're going to do this as a business, requires you keep accounting, good accounting records. I mean, it's in their guidance right at the beginning. If it's a business, you have to keep good accounting records. And the first thing we always tell every new entrepreneur, and generally the first thing they ignore, is keep your expenses and your income separate for business purposes. So open you up a business bank account, and your revenue gets deposited into that bank account. Your checks you write get written for business purposes, get written out of that bank account. We tell them all the time, if you need a credit card for stuff, it should be a business credit card, and only business transactions run through it. Don't put your groceries on it. Don't put your spouse's car payment on it. Don't put trips to the movies on it. That it should be separate and apart from all those things. Some of that has to do with the ability to maintain your legal liability status. Some of it is just, it's good practice. Mm-hmm. It's easier for you. It's easier for your advisors. If you're not constantly having to try and figure out how to take all that stuff out that doesn't belong there to begin with, to come up with your financial statements, to see how your business cash flow is. So
It save you money on tax preparation at the end of the year. If you say, here are my business expenses. This is what I have set up. Much easier there as well for you guys.
Oh,
Correct?
for sure. For sure. I mean, look, we work with new business people all the time, and it's hard when you're starting out because a lot of time you're putting money in as the owner to keep things going, and you're taking money out when you have some extra. It's just the more organized you are with it from the get-go, the long-term benefit is that it's going to cost less to do it. You're going to be better organized, and you're actually going to be able to tell what's going on. We were kind of joking at the beginning of this. If there's just stories that I had regarding like lessons learned, and it's a day-to-day kind of thing. All the time we have people who come to us and we say, do you keep your business and personal stuff separate? And they shake their head, they nod, they say yes. Yeah, I'm getting better at it. And then they give us a box that's their personal and business bank statements and credit card statements, and go, I do spend some pretty much everywhere. And it's just one of those things, right? Like, nobody has that crystal ball. Most of the time, not even the business owners actually know. You're looking at it, for 12 months ago, 16 months ago, and you're going, was that Taco Bell trip for, a client meeting, or was that just you? And
You love chalupas. Yeah.
and
Not knocking Taco Bell. I'll eat a
and
nachos Bel Grande every day.
so it's just, we as your advisors, we don't have all the answers. I mean, there's some things that are easy to tell. Your business insurance is coming out of it. We know that that truck that we put on the tax return, that's the mechanic shop. We can tell that's related to it. Maybe it's your gasoline for it. Seems reasonable.
Yeah. A seminar.
There's
Seminars,
there's things
educational
that
stuff.
that jump out where we go, okay, the expectation is this is business stuff, but when people just mix it all up together, I mean, what we end up with is a whole lot of work trying to sit there with an owner who's going like, well, I'm not paying you guys to do all this stuff. You're asking me all the questions. And the answer is, that's right. That's right. You are the only person that knows. Yeah. And so you're going to have to answer us so that we can put together your financial information for you. And then potentially we're doing a tax return for you.
Yeah.
So it really is important. I mean, I would say if you're the do-it-yourselfer and you're going to just start your accounting from scratch, QuickBooks Online is a decent paid, tool to just get started. There's other ones out there that you can get for free that are like advertising sponsored, and they work well too. But I would say when you're getting started, even if you're going, I'm going to do all my accounting on my own, find someone who can help you set up your chart of accounts and explain to you what these are for, so that when you go to use one, you know what you're supposed to put there. Yeah. So that it's just a little bit better when you run your profit and loss statement as an entrepreneur, and you go, okay, I got 6 different folks that I'm working with, and I can tell that I'm making the most from this source, that source, or the other, versus a lot of, early entrepreneurs' reaction is you get to the end of the year, you say, well, how good was the year? I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. Like I paid my bills. My bank account got a little bit more in it.
I'm still a landman. Still a landman
doing it
today.
again. Yeah. And like sometimes it is that, right? For entrepreneurs, you tend to kind of know how things are going. But that accounting, having it there really lets you pay attention to what's going on, especially when we turn it into that bill that you weren't planning for, the tax one that comes based on all that activity you had in your year. And that's where we find, you want those awkward moments, the lessons that nobody likes to be the teacher for. It's when you're talking to a client and being like, you had a great year this year, and they're all excited about it. And this is just, a lot of times for whatever reason seems to happen right after they spend a lot of money. They went on a big trip, they bought that new house, and they made that extra deposit because they had all this cash. And you go, okay, but did you plan for all your taxes? And they're like, well, I didn't really know what I was making, so, I figured it'd be fine. And we have to sit there and a lot of times you just have to break hard news, which is, you had a great year, and I'm glad you've had all this success, but that tax bill, the IRS, the IRS, the state, they're not going to let you off the hook for that one. So we got to figure out how to make up for the money that you don't have in your pocket right now.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of best practices. You want to keep good books, keep good records. That's going to keep you out of the ditch. It's going to keep you informed. You can understand, what your obligations are, what you can spend and what you can't. Hopefully you're maximizing your deductions and you're running your business like a business.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the hardest transition from being an employee to being self-employed, yes. Right? Is when I was an employee, I got my W-2. I cared about how much my revenue was, my salary was, or how much I got paid by the hour, because my employer took out payroll taxes. So when I got to the filing my tax return, most people can manage because it's getting taken care of for them. As a business owner, an independent landman, I mean, you're a business owner. Everyone who steps into that role has to understand they're assuming a whole new level of responsibility when it comes to their financial management, because there's not anybody doing it for you anymore. Yeah. I mean, if you don't have accounting records, you can't plan for what you need to do. You don't really know if your cash flow is good in, the summer or the winter, the spring, all year long, only when, someone gives you the phone call and says, get after it.
Yeah.
So those things are important just because your whole business now is, in a lot of people's cases, their business is now their sole financial provider. So if they don't know what they're doing, then it can provide not just more expenses when it comes to working with like a CPA, but you're talking about stress that just from the unknown.